My name's Jeff Schottler. I live at 22420 Calico Court, Farmington. Said that more times than I'd ever thought I would in a public place. I don't belong up here. Big night, a lot of emotion. Got a lot of residents here. Most of these are Farmington residents, since we question that Farmington residents don't care about this. We need a little emotion and support and care too. Been asking for over a year to do something. If it can happen or not, the courts will decide that. Is it safe? Uncomfortable? Josh, you keep saying uncomfortable. It's more than uncomfortable, it's unsafe. We've looked all around the country at the other examples that are 250 feet away from homes. It's more than uncomfortable, it's unsafe. These are moms and dads, sons and daughters, husbands and wives that are your residents that are asking for your help to make a difference. Been asking you guys for 6 months, reach out. Even if you can't say there's a new number, there's something different, say, we're working on it. We're gonna make it better than what it is. That's what we're asking for. You've had a year to come up with something. It doesn't make any sense to any of us. How do we have any faith in you guys, in any of the leadership, when we're asking for help, meeting after meeting, email after email, message after message? You're doing this to make the town better and provide things for the town. We're doing this to make it better and keep it safe for our families. How long are we gonna have this argument and this fight and this battle? Do you think it ends the second the courts decide? I mean, do you not think there's a whole nother battle the second these lights come on 24/7? Because you haven't said that during construction. There's not gonna be lights at my house 24/7. Highway 42 is a long ways away from Meta. My house is about a quarter closer to that distance. You think that's not an issue when those lights are blaring in my windows? Nick, you bring up your kid at every meeting. You stood on my deck and you talked about your kid. You're doing this for your kid. You're doing this. You support this decision for your kid. That's personal, because you're taking from my kid her residential quality of life to hopefully give something better to your kid. You shouldn't even said those things out loud if that's how you think. You're doing it for every kid, not just yours, right? I mean, that's what I would hope to hear from you, that you're doing this to make it better for every kid, not just yours. That was a mistake to say out loud and to put in every email that you sent to the rest of the council. You know there's impact and you know there's ways to lessen this impact, but you guys ain't doing that. You're not doing that. You're not even saying we're working on it. Nobody's reached out and said, hey, we got a plan. We've reached out to them. You haven't even said, hey, you know what, we all came together, we talked, and we're gonna try and get you guys some help. We went and talked to this good neighbor developer. You haven't even said that. There's people that are coming here for over a year asking for something to change. You know the difference in heavy automotive, light automotive. You know the difference in a house, a townhouse, an apartment. But we don't know the difference of where a data center or 12 of them belong. It's insane. You just shut that 3 planning meetings ago, you shut down that auto body place from going out by JTN Communications because it doesn't fit in their zoning. It's an industrial park over there. But yet the heaviest industrial business that's ever come to Farmington belongs that close to homes. We have to have some common sense and some compassion for your residents. You got 40 people, 30 people, they're all Farmington residents. They're not all just from my neighborhood. They're from different sections of Farmington too. Each one of us represents 3 to 5 people. I represent 45 years of paying taxes in Farmington between my wife and myself. Been paying taxes for 45 years here. We've had 22 years consecutive home ownership in Farmington. That has to mean something. The homeowners that are leaving, they're Folgers, a good friend of mine. He cried when he moved out. I cried a little bit. That's a neighbor leaving forever. That's a man that watched my kids. That's a lady that watched my daughter. And I did for them. Where's their compassion? Where's our compassion? When is it our turn? To rob Peter to pay Paul don't make you right. To take from me to give somebody else don't make it right. At least show us that you're working and you're gonna do something and you're gonna work with us. You've had a ton of suggestions, but all of them seem dumb because it's not coming from you guys. So then come up with something. Come up with your own awesome plan. Go back to the table. get them to go back to the table and offer something. Or it doesn't matter what the courts say now, you're gonna have continued lawsuits. Once residential impact starts, that's when a whole bunch of other people start with this, because now there's truly something to base a lawsuit off. I would think that you've been advised or taught or told about some of this, and the other examples across the country where you're 250 feet away from homes, the impact of lawsuit and the things that have happened. Unless that's part of your plan, you're like, hey, we're gonna make so much money, we'll just dole money out to all of them forever. Is that the plan? Is that the legacy? That's the story you wanna leave behind? It's what you wanna be remembered as? We're people. We live here. People are bringing their kids here, their wives here. Do something for your residents that are here asking for the help. Everybody in town wants better parks, free school lunches, awesome senior centers, but they don't want to pay it for their own backs, their own yards, their own skin. Find a way to do it where it works, where you're not pushing residents out of homes they live in. We didn't choose to move into an industrial park. We didn't choose to move into next to the heaviest industrial thing that's ever come into Farmington. Might be Dakota County. This is 3 times bigger than Meta, and look where you're putting it. Did any of you drive past Meta? I asked you guys to drive by there at night in the dark and look at it. Did any of you, can we even get a nod either way? Did any of you go by Meta at night and look at it?
Jeff,
Not even.
Jeff, your time's expired.
Can I get a nod? Yes or no? Did anybody look at it? Is that okay in your backyard for 5 years? Nick, is it okay in your yard for 5 years for your kid? It ain't for mine.
Hi, Council. First of all, I want to thank you for your service. I'm really nervous. I'm not a public speaker, but I would like to thank you for everything you do for Farmington. And Lane, you sound like an amazing person. But anyway, I was at my son's house yesterday, and we brought up the subject of the data center. And of course, I'm nervous as heck here, but he said, Mom, just go up there and tell him how you feel. So I have to admit, I haven't been to a lot of these meetings. My name is Gina Treble, and I live at 22402 Calico Court. So I am directly affected by this data center. And I feel like we're sort of collateral damage in this whole thing. And what I would ask for is maybe check setbacks a little bit farther, or, just try to do something for us. And we feel like we're not being heard. And that's my biggest thing, is maybe try to work with us. I don't want it to be a us versus them, and that's what I feel like this is. I'd like to feel like we are valued and our opinions do matter. So that's where I stand. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Colby Slonick. I live at 22421 Calico Court in Farmington. My wife and I have been residents in Farmington since 2017. Since 2021, we've lived in our home in Executive Estates. My front door is a couple hundred feet from the property line of the golf course. We were drawn to this property. We had plans on starting a family. We saw how quiet it was and all the kids running around and how awesome it was. This is all going to change when the rezoning happened of the Fountain Valley Golf Course in anticipation of this data center. I'm here tonight to show support for my neighbors who have been here throughout all these city council meetings. They've been speaking up when the rest of us have kind of been hiding in the weeds. So thank you to those people who have been speaking up and fighting for us to try to help our neighborhood, as well as the Castle Rock Township. So thank you for that. To the city council, at this point, I just ask you guys to help mitigate this impact on us residents. We need more space. 250 feet from a bedroom window is not enough space. It's a 700 megawatts of power in a 50-foot tall building, 250 feet from a bedroom window. Please give us more space. Protect our health, our way of life, and our property values. Please just give us more space. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jonathan Nygren. I live at 22403 Calico Court. I bought a house with a view of the 13th hole of Fountain Valley Golf Course. I would prefer to not have a 40-foot building out the front of my window. I find it immoral to plant an industrial zone in a residential area. I feel like residential should build up to industrial. You know what you're getting. You know what you're buying or building in that area. But I'm not even asking to not have this park. I'm asking for 500 feet. 250 is not enough. Please give us 500 feet. Lynn, you've obviously been very good to people. I'm asking you today, be good to my community, my tax-paying neighbors and friends of this community. 500 feet, please, or more, please.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. My name is Kevin Eendorf. I live at 613 12th Street, which is over in East Farmington, which is right off of 50 and 3. So I'm here in support of my friends and neighbors that live in the near vicinity of that project also. I'm mostly asking that you give them the opportunity or give them the space that they ask and work with the developers in the project to make sure that both parties will be successful. Because we don't want to have people that are unhappy that are going to live there the rest of their lives like they expected to be when they moved in. Because when I moved here 13 years ago, one of the gentlemen here tonight was my next neighbor, and he's like one of my best friends. And he actually bought a house that's off one of the holes in that neighborhood. So he's directly and greatly impacted, and his daughter and my daughter have grown up together, and they're both 13 years old. So I say, just please make sure you guys are very open and don't go one-sided, and you keep an open mind to make this the best available thing and the best opportunity for both the families and the businesses of Farmington. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll keep this short. My name is Brian Treble. I live at 22402 Calico Court. I would like to just let you know a little bit about myself. I'm married. I have 2 kids, 4 grandkids. I'm 65 years old, retired union fire sprinkler fitter, Twin Cities Local 417. I was born here in Farmington, 1959, in their hospital that's not there no more. I have worked construction for 45 plus years. In 2015, my wife and I bought this lot and had a custom home built, thinking it would be our last. 2017, I retired. So it really hurt when our mayor came out to our neighborhood early on in this, and with the questions we were asking, he got defensive and said, if you don't like it, you can always move, which really hurts. No, it's not that easy. I'd pay twice as much to have the same house built somewhere else to match the interest rates and the loss of equity because of what's going to take place in my backyard. I just wish that you guys had a little bit of compassion for your residents and treat your residents as Team Farmington also. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Council Mayor Nate Ryan, Cambrian Way. So I just, couple things. So the first thing is I've talked about this being a zoning issue from day one, and this still is a zoning issue. I asked at the last time that we all got together and spoke, mostly me speaking, you listening-ish, but I asked for you to define what an industrial was. I've got 0 emails. I've got nothing from the city attorney. I've got nothing from anyone at the city defining exactly what industrial is to you all. and how or what you based your decision on to put a full industrial project into a mixed-use commercial industrial zone. What defines industrial? I'm going to ask you that again. This is the second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, I don't know how many times now, but what is that? Define it. You're going to have to define it in front of a judge. You're going to have to say, hey, what is industrial? Why did you do this? And if you can't define it to me or anyone else in a public space, and you have to wait until you get subpoenaed in front of a judge to do so, what the heck? What are you doing? How can you possibly do this? It should be cut and dry. It should be black and white. This is an industrial project. This isn't an industrial project. This is mixed-use commercial industrial. Later tonight, you're going to be talking about rezoning or not rezoning, but water issues, right? In an industrial park. She talks about willing sellers all the time, right? Oh, Deanna, we have to find willing sellers. Well, you found a willing seller of a golf course piece of property, but you didn't have willing zoning. They've come to one meeting, that seller has come to one meeting. He didn't even get up and speak about how his property should be zoned. Tract did it. Tract came up here. They don't even own the land. They have a developer agreement. They have some type of an agreement with the seller to come and represent their interest. And this is okay with you? This passed the sniff test, right? It's frustrating that we have to keep coming back. I'm thankful that all these neighbors are here. I'm thankful that all these people are here. This is what we talk about when we hang out and sit around fires or hang out in someone's garage. It takes a lot of courage to stand up here on this side of the podium. It takes a lot of courage to be where you are. I understand that. But guys, come on, dude. This is an industrial project. And you're going to wait for a judge to tell you that before you back down? You're gonna say, oh, we had to do this. We had to say yes like the Met Council did. B as in B, S as in S. You didn't have to. You said no to a auto repair going next to empty buildings and bothering people who are working out. But you're saying yes to a 750 megawatt project next to homes where people sleep. And you're saying, well, don't worry, you're gonna just open a restaurant so that way you can have a bunch of people who are gonna be here for 5 years. You're gonna make a ton of money. So instead of worrying about your house, just go open a restaurant, feed those people, every other week or every 2 weeks, and they get paid on a Friday to come eat at your restaurant, and that'll make things better. And I also want to remind you that the second that people moved up next to a train track, y'all decided and thought it was okay to then put in an electric charging station down there so the trains didn't have to run and disturb the neighbors who are more than 250 feet away from the dang train tracks. You did that. Those are your decisions. Holly, do you live close over there? Do you live by there? Were you bothered by the trains? Did it help? Was like, well, okay, well, let's help out my other residents. We're going to be bothered. We're going to have blight. We're going to have noise. We're going to have dust. We're going to have all those things from this project, an industrial project. It's frustrating that we're allotted to the second 5 minutes. You all took 34 minutes, and Lynn's great. It's fantastic. You took 34 minutes of your residents' time to gush over Lynn. Service of 4 years. We've been here for 20 years. My wife and I are going to celebrate 21 years of marriage this year. We've been here for 20 years. We get 5 minutes of your time. We get 5 minutes for you to come speak with us.
21 years.
Sorry.
We get 5 minutes. Sure, we can request time with you. We can sit down and have coffee if you're willing to meet with us. If you're not too busy. Give an employee who's been here for 4 years 30-some minutes to recognize her career, which is great. She's great. She's awesome. Perfect. You give us 5 minutes to get a point across. You give the developer, how much time did you give the developer? How many times did you meet with them, Josh? How many times did you meet with them, Lynn? How many times did you meet with them? Was it a little more than 5 minutes? My guess is a lot more than 5 minutes. More time. You're You're so just bent on revenue, and you're getting another data center. You're getting a data center. You're so bent on revenue, you just seek it. You just chase it like a little dog chasing its tail. Revenue, revenue. Oh, let's go find it. Let's go find tax revenue at the expense of us. But the second that somebody who moved up against the train tracks and goes, oh my God, train's loud. It makes noise when it stops and runs all night. We had to fight with the city when the people came in and they wanted to park their trucks and leave them turned on 24 hours. We had to fight. He's not here. We had to fight with Tony about it. We won. We got them to turn off their trucks. And now we have to fight with you about this. Y'all seem like you just like, rather than doing the next right thing, you're like, well, let's just see if they'll sue us. Well, this is questionable, this is gray. Let's just see if they'll sue us. Let's see if they'll actually do it. Why do you do that? What's your deal?
And your time is expired, Nate.
Yeah, I know, Josh. My time's expired. It's always expired. It's always just, we don't want to hear you talk anymore. Just over. I
Your
really
time's
thought
expired,
when we
Nate.
talked out in the parking lot out there, that you actually meant what you said.
Your time's expired,
And
Nate.
all you were is BS. And all you are is BS.
There is decorum here.
You're pathetic,
And we'll
dude.
maintain it.
You're pathetic.
You're done, Nate.
I'm not leaving because you asked me to.
Your time
Leaving
is
because I
expired, Nate.
respect all these people who still have something else to say.
Hi, I'm Casey Nelson. I'm on 224th Street West, just about 5 houses in from the golf course. I really did not expect to say anything tonight. This is not something that I normally do. I brought my 4 young kids here. They're just in our tiny little block alone. My son on the way here counted 40 children that he could just name off the top of his head that live in our neighborhood. We don't know the long-term effects of something like this. Our kids are going to grow up next to this, sleep, go to school next to it. These are our future. And as I saw something, it's how we treat our children in our lives is a measure of our humanity. I'm asking you to have some humanity. We just moved to this town a couple of years ago. We were so excited from the city, so excited to have the space, the quiet. It's so beautiful. We enjoy our neighbors so much. I just really am asking you to have some humanity and think about the future of Farmington, which is our kids. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Taylor Heitman. I live at 1025 Westview Drive. My first few comments are directed towards the community members that I am grateful to share this space with today, both here and virtually. This October marks 18 years since my grandparents and I moved across the street from Dakota Electric, but I have been involved in the community since I was in diapers. I still remember singing made-up songs with my grandpa on our way to Joyce's, my daycare lady who lived on Aiken when it was still dirt. I was 12 when my grandparents bought a house here in 2007, choosing Farmington for the small town vibes that carried the promise of growth. As I have myself grown, I've watched business after business be smothered by predatory city practices while homeowners' property taxes continue to rise. I attended FHS as a 10th grader the year the new building opened, and it has faced cut after cut while surrounding communities invest in their kids. I know I don't need to remind folks here that we have been without an accessible grocery store for over 5 years now. There's no public transit or otherwise improved road systems despite exponential growth of housing developments that have decimated our namesake farmland. Now we're finally seeing the small business growth that we've been promised, and our city council wants to strip it from us by putting, an industrial-sized hyperscale data center in residents' backyards, in the most literal sense, with complete disregard for its effect on constituents, surrounding businesses, and the environment as a whole. Report after report is coming out about the light, noise, air, and water pollution that these data centers create, as well as about the gluttonous use of water they require to cool the servers inside of them. This one data center will more than double the city's water consumption, and there are 10 proposed between here and Hampton and Faribault and Northfield and other surrounding small communities. And they are all going to be drawing water from the same sources or nearby. Residents have had to ration our water use for the last 20 years, so tell me, how is there enough to suddenly double the city's use? What happens when the data center gets claimed to the little water we have left when we inevitably face another drought? Will we be without running water like the folks in Virginia? Our water treatment centers are unequipped to handle neither the volume nor the temperature of the wastewater this center will bring. Our energy grid will be overwhelmed and residents will be left picking up the bill. Deep tax cuts will harm our community even further. Even our state Congress, despite recent rulings, has considered this specific project foolish. And what's it all for? A few dozen jobs that could be created in any other number of ways? Meanwhile, residents who have expressed concern have been met with spying, spite, and otherwise vindictive behavior that I might expect from my middle school students, not fully grown elected officials. The Belzer dealership already keeps my bedroom fully lit at night, and it's 4 miles away from my house. I live on the edge of town and I can't see the stars anymore. Something like this will destroy the quality of life of every person in this room. Fully at the whims of people who are supposed to be our representatives. Now, Council, I would like to address you directly. I understand that y'all are of the if they don't like it, they can leave mindset per Mayor Hoyt. The problem with that is that many, if not all of the residents in this room, at least most of them, have lived here longer than y'all have been sitting on your proverbial thrones and will be here long after you. In a 2020 Sun article, Mr. Hoyt is quoted as saying it's important to put personal goals and ambitions aside for the betterment of the residents. And at the end of the day, he works for the residents. On Facebook, he calls himself a servant leader, whatever that means. Why is it then that all I've ever seen from this council, and especially in regards to such a huge and major life-changing problem, is belittling, bullying, and self-service? This domain belongs to all of the residents of Farmington, not only you and the ones you deem worthy. We all deserve a safe place to live without having to move, without being forced from our homes. We all deserve to hear birds sing and see stars shine. We all deserve bread and roses. So now I ask you, what side of history are you going to choose to be on? Because it will not remember your transgressions fondly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. I'm from 3054 to 24th Executive Estates. Very nervous to speak. Thank you, everybody, for speaking. This was very amazing, very thoughtful. I'm just kind of winging it here tonight. So I come from a construction background. I've personally benefited from working on data centers myself. I've done 3 projects. However, I'd like to point out a key difference between what we are planning to do here in Farmington and what I've done. Every single one of those places was built in a designated industrial zone away from residential buildings. And therefore, it's more suited for that type of use. I'm with all of my neighbors in saying that while in the short term, this project would bring lots of jobs to construction people such as myself, I think it is utterly inappropriate to place in industrial zoning next to residential buildings. And I would strongly urge the council to please reconsider your actions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Council. My name is Cameron Duncan. I live at 22296 Cambrian Way. I've been present at a lot of these meetings and have chosen not to speak in the past, but thought tonight it was time to show support. I think where I'm most puzzled by all of this is I know non-disclosure agreements have their places in many things, but when I was looking up, Virginia is kind of a hot place for data centers where they had 31 proposals with only 25 of them having NDAs. So why did the 6 not? It's not a question for you guys, but just a question for me. But then I looked further into what non-disclosure agreements are and why they're here and used. And some of the verbiage was if a business is going to move from one area to another, it's to not have the business know that they're moving. But then the other part of it was also if there's any like bidding basically for trying to get tax breaks or tax cuts. And I'm just hoping that at the end of this, if there is any way, once the non-disclosure agreement is kind of over and done with, project is started, if we as residents will find out why NDAs were used, but also how they made it very non-transparent to all of us. I did want to say, being in Executive Estates and all of my neighbors here behind me, it's a really, really good community. Oh, it's easy for me to get choked up, and that's why I don't speak. But no, I just wanted to say that I'm here to support Jeff a lot and a lot of what he said. And just that this is going to be really, really hard on my neighborhood. If this comes with less than 250-foot setbacks, or if it's somehow pushed forward to be closer than that, it's just, I think, totally unbearable for my friend and his family. And I would hope that we can somehow get agreement on further setbacks, and just, that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you.
Good evening. Tonight I'm just providing some facts. We discovered some facts through public data requests and documents the city has released. I would also like to read a portion of a letter I received from the city's outside attorney, if that's okay. I know you are aware of the complaints that we filed with the city, one that involved emails from an opposition group that were discovered in internal city communications. Initially, we were aware of 30 instances where these emails of residents, were shared within the city without their knowledge. With the most recent data release, that number has increased to 70 separate emails distributed internally. Some of the subject lines and comments on these city emails included FYI, insider info, more info for you, latest on the attorney, I have 911 with the data center group and need advice. Responses included call me, thank you, looks like it was a busy weekend. Thanks for all the emails. These emails were also several emails were also forwarded to the city attorney at the time. This came directly from the data. Now I'd like to read a portion of the letter I received. My purpose is to inform the residents and answer the questions of where the complaints currently stand. I wish I had time to read the whole thing, but due to the 5-minute limit, I can only share portions. It's about City of Farmington's responses to your certain statements. Data issues, I'm just going to skip because it's very long. Data issues related to complaints against city employees. The city cannot disclose private data to the public or state any opinions to the public about such private data. 2, following the investigation, the city determined the complaints were unsubstantiated. This means that the complaints were not supported by or proven by the evidence. 3, all data you provide the city, such as data and emails, are presumed public with certain exceptions. And I'm skipping Minnesota statutes. When the city receives data directly or through external sources, it reviews and considers how it may be used by employees in exercising their duties and responsibilities for the city, which may include disclosures to other individuals working with the city internally or externally. This facilitates the city performing services and functions effectively and completely. The city is not aware of any unlawful breach of any public data on you or that the city has any such legally classified private data on you. It goes on, public complaints about city employees. The city provides a public comment section during its city council meeting that you have stated comments at. It goes on, accordingly, the city may deem any further statements you make at a city council meeting as out of order, as they are not protected, and the city is providing you with other sufficient means to communicate private data on employees, as you may communicate such to the city administrator. If you have any questions or comments, please contact the city administrator. I've provided no opinions tonight. I'm just sharing public data that anybody can obtain and everybody has a right to. And I shared part of my letter. This leaves us with some final questions that, in my opinion, we should all be asking ourselves as a community. What kind of a city culture do we want for Farmington? What kind of a city culture are we willing or not willing to stand behind? And finally, what message is the city currently sending to its residents? That's all I have tonight. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hey, good evening. My name is Nick. I live at 3095 224th Street. I am woefully unprepared and was not intending to speak. Wasn't even sure if I was going to make it. But in solidarity with my neighbors and my larger community here, I feel I have to. I spoke once many months ago, but all I want to say is I always want to believe in people's better angels, the angels being you guys. However, you have proven yourselves to be false each and every time. Lynn, I don't know anything about you, but the glowing words, maybe you should be in charge. And I don't know whose job it is to bring business into this community, but I read that 2040 plan, and I read the amendments to the 2040 plan, all 900, almost 1,000 pages of it on our website. And instead of sticking with the plan that so many people that have come years and decades before you to plan the dignified, structured growth of this city, you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater and hoping to fix a mouse hole that's tube of dynamite, and it's kind of gross. And your actions and your behaviors and your language in public do not meet what you say in private, which is also gross. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
My name is Terry Pearson, 2475 225th Street West. And I want to leave you with, when this is all said and done, I probably won't be here. I might be very well dead. But Farmington will have to answer to its future residents, these children, and all the other children. Thank you.
Thank you.